take a couple seconds.
Just tell me when to hit play.
All right. Okay, hit it.
Like Canada. James Country Mike. Good evening. Welcome to the After Hours Show. My name's Joe in Norway. I'll be your cook this evening, and I'm joined by Ann Lee, a retired college professor and a community member at the Daily Coast. They're a member of the National Council of Independent Scholars and is a contributor to the book, The Political Economy of Art, Making the Nation of Culture. Evening, Ann.
Hey, Joe. What's for supper? Looks muddy.
Oh, well, it's the dead of winter again, and I'm getting those Mediterranean. I've been here 6 months. I haven't been traveling. I'm getting really itchy, and I need something juicy and full of vitamin C and something a little summery. So I thought I'd make dolma, some stuffed things, or technically sarma, stuffed grape leaves, popularized in the Ottoman times. Dolma is technically filled stuffed thing, whereas sarma is rolled. So technically we're rolling sarma. So it's we're gonna make some dolma, which I've made before, I think about 2 years or so, but I made with fresh grape leaves. So these ones are already cured, pickled. So they're already preserved, so you don't have to do all the hassle of blanching them and whatnot. But I thought what we're going to do is add a little extra pickle or filling. I've got our white kimchi from the other day with all of the little colorful vegetable bits of daikon, carrot, and paprika, some other things I can't remember. Chop some of those up. We've got our rice. We're going to grind up some of our proteins. Oh, technically, dolma would be, since the Ottoman were mostly Muslim, vegetarian things were kind of they're not prescribed. So vegetarian dolmas, which we make here because it's all 100% vegetarian cooking we're doing on Kitchen ASMR on the After Hours show. We're making counterfeit dolmas. The translation, I think it was, oh shit, I forgot the Turkish name for it. So another name, or false or fake or mock dolmas is another name for it. So since we're not actually putting ground meat in, which would be the traditional way, we're using walnut for the protein. So we'll grind these up. We've got garlic, and these aren't animal droppings. These are black currants, dried black currants. And I've got parsley, scallion, little garlic. We'll saute those up. get our rice mix ready, and then the way we're going to cook it is we're going to slice these potatoes, put at the bottom of the pan, the pot,
Mm,
then a layer of grape leaves, and then stack the dolma in there. And then we're going to submerge it in a little broth or water with lemon juice and some of our white kimchi juice to give it a little extra kick. And
cool.
we won't be able to see the finished product until tomorrow, but it'll take an hour to cook, about 50 minutes. So yeah,
Is it
that's what
hard to
we've
get?
got going on.
Is it hard to get grape leaves up where you are?
No, we've got, well, sort of, but we have a lot of Syrian grocery stores.
Mm,
So it's pretty easy to get Mediterranean products up here now, which
cool.
compliments of U.S. wars. But,
You can thank imperialism for this.
oh, I assume we'll be seeing Iranians shortly.
Yes, I think we're probably going to
Latest,
do.
latest from Drop Site News is that some leak of the U.S. being ready to attack at any moment over the weekend, possibly.
Yeah, they for some reason Trump thinks that if you drop missiles on a country, they're going to change regimes. That's just not going to happen. I don't
Mhm.
think it's ever happened where you drop ordnance and suddenly the government changes. That's just not going to happen.
Mhm.
So Trump is full of it. But we'll see something, mainly because it was a busy day for Epstein, etc.
Oh,
I note that Arjun is here.
are you still going on about that Epstein feller?
Oh God.
First thing we do, we soak the rice. So it's partially not partially cooked, but it's yeah, that's the first step. Anyways, you were saying about the pedophilia.
No, Arjun was not because of
Oh,
pedophilia, but Arjun was here for a second and then he
oh,
left. But so we'll just proceed without him. Um,
I'm here.
yes. Oh,
well, I can't
And
see you
please
on
don't.
my little.
And for the
Well,
record,
hi.
pedophilia and Arjun should not go in the same sentence. But
Yeah,
I
that's
appreciate this.
Oh, there you are. Sorry.
so not a fan.
There's a lot of information coming out right now thanks to I'll post it. I'll go look it up and post it. But there's this group that is formed of public people who have been going through the actual documents that have been dumped so far, and like the amount of incriminating information against Trump
Ah,
is just utterly insane. Um,
yeah.
why the Democrats aren't willing to throw Bill Clinton under the bus, I will never know because like that seems to be basically all it is. The only other major Democratic politician that is really implicated is Bill Richardson, who ran for president, former governor of New Mexico, right?
Right.
But he's passed on. So he's
Right.
dead.
He's
So
dead,
like
Jim.
who like it doesn't make any sense to me.
Well,
So
you
this
know,
is
the Clint.
another trove. You have to update me.
Yeah,
Been out of
another
the.
trove. They released it at 11 a.m. this morning, and the simultaneous distraction that Trump produced was to announce that for some, he was going to have at least 10,000 people come to his UFC fight that he's going to have on the south lawn of the of the White House. And what else did he? He also announced that he wanted to have is doing an executive order for a IndyCar race in Washington D.C. So there's this whole thing that was going on simultaneously that he was trying to offset the fact that his little minion, the Deputy Attorney General, Todd Blanche, was over at the Justice Department trying to explain why he still hasn't released the other 2.5 million documents and why they only released 3.5 million today. So that's kind of what happened to fill the middle of the day. Aside from the fact that Don Lemon, this, and of course, at the same time, this is all planned. It's not unintentional. It's just the usual, flood of information. Arrested four journalists, all of whom happen to be black, just coincidentally. But the most famous of them was Don Lemon, who just a couple minutes ago was released from custody. So that happened. And that was all designed. I mean, it was meant to offset the Epstein release. It's pretty obvious that that's what's going on. Same thing with Iran. It's just, I mean, they were moving an aircraft carrier last week, and so it's there now, and they're ready to drop something on Iran. So it's going to be a busy weekend, I guess.
It's always like this.
Mm.
They always do everything on because it's all based on like the stock market. So they always dump crap on Friday. I mean,
Yes.
the Democrats have like historically something you always do if something bad, but in this case, this like 1 month that has last felt like a decade, really. Um, like it's ridiculous. And the thing is that like it's all this stuff is open, and I don't want to get conspiratorial at all, but if you really look at like his people like short the markets every single time he's about to like
That's right.
announce a tariff. You can go through the last year.
Yep.
It's crazy, and they're doing the same stuff now. And I think that's what it is. It feels like it's like the end of the grift, but at the same time, it's like a really, really dangerous moment because
Mm,
the opposition is feckless, like in
yes.
truth. So I don't know where it goes from here. I really, really hope he doesn't bomb Iran. Like I have no like warm feelings towards the Islamic Republic of Iran's government. But at the same time, we all know that when the US starts bombing places, it kills indiscriminately.
Mm,
That's what bombs
indeed.
do. So, it's yeah, it's pretty crazy. I am not sure. Like, I don't know what you all feel about this, but I don't think that he's actually going to go through with an actual strike on Iran,
Mm,
given the economic numbers that have just come out. And if they
yeah.
were to do like a like let's be real, like I think it's two carriers now in the Gulf, right? Two carrier group.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
so that's enough force. That's more force that's like triple World War II amount of ordnance on those and those two fleets. Um, if they were to unleash that on Iran, Iran would have no choice but to, seal the Strait of Hormuz, which would literally send the world into like a global depression because there's so
Right.
much precarity already.
Right.
I think it's more of this, more of the same, more of the same. I have noticed there's a lot in Canada now. There's a lot of buzz about how they're sort of fueling the separatist movement in Alberta.
Yeah. Trump, people from the Trump administration actually met with Albertan um, separatists, right? I mean, that was the
Mhm.
news report we got this morning.
Yeah, and it goes back a long time. If you'll notice, the 2008 election. Sarah Palin was like, sort of a disgrace after that campaign. She, came across as stupid because she is. But immediately after, her first major money that she made was a speaking engagement in Calgary. Like
Wow.
there is a connection between uh that sort of conservative element and we always equivalent we draw the comparison between Calgary and Texas. They're very
Mm,
much
right.
akin, because it's oil money. It's and their mood, becomes happy or sad based on the oil prices alone. And in Alberta, it's mostly at this point tar sands. So
Mm,
oil sands. So it costs so much to extract that oil that the oil prices need to be very, very high.
Mm.
So I think the feeling over there, and I think it's grossly exaggerated how many people actually want to separate. But um, I mean, it's still disturbing nonetheless. I did enjoy the fact that some libs here reached out to Minnesota and people in Minnesota and said, okay, if Calgary joins the US, you guys join us. We'll be happy.
Weird.
Do you know what the population of the province is, roughly?
Of Alberta?
Yeah.
I'll have to look. Let me just look it up. 1 second. It
I
can't
mean, the
be.
only thing out there besides all
What
that
about the
oil
Bay
is
Area?
the Calgary Stampede, right? Anyway.
Yeah, it's 4.2 million
Oh, jeez.
total. So, I mean,
That's a little
yeah,
smaller than Norway.
yeah, like in a huge landmass. I don't know. It's just, I think people are just getting sick in general of how governance is going in Canada as well. Like this is a phenomenon across the West. You guys have it the most
Mm.
extreme in the US, but across the West, everyone's getting very sick of the fecklessness of their governments. And in Canada, we have this like unique sort of situation where the federal government's policies can be overridden by this thing called the notwithstanding clause, which allows provinces to sort of ignore um,
Mm,
federal laws. And this was done in the 70s to stop, the Quebec separatist movement.
right.
I did note that there was a fun I have a fun like little anecdote. I have a good friend in Montreal, and she was telling me that she's friends with like a lot of like social media influencers over there, and like a lot of the right wingers in the States have been trying to sort of gin up that sort of uh francophone, the what's it called, this like a new sort of Quebec separatist movement, and like they're all getting rejected so hard because basically they were saying that yeah, so you want us to give up our health care for what?
Exactly. Exactly. It's the same thing with Greenland, right? And in the case of Minneapolis or Minnesota, there we do have something similar about the right of rejection. It's the 10th Amendment to the Constitution. And Trump makes all this noise that people should be obeying the federal government when, there is a reality, there's a true limit to what they can do. It's unfortunate that they're still there, and it hasn't come to the point where uh, the governor has in Minnesota has to call out the National Guard to kick ICE out, but and it's not going to reach that point, even though the guy they brought in to replace Bavino, uh, Mr. Tom 50,000 K or 50K Holman is now the head, and he's revealed that it's the same boss. He's not any more accommodating than Bavino. He just is better spoken than the other guy, and he doesn't dress funny. So that's kind of
The,
the limits of what we have to do down here.
this Holman guy, he's the one that likes theater or talks about the theater a lot.
Oh, I don't know.
Oh,
He's
I don't.
he's the one who
And
sounds drunk all the time.
you just said he's a better speaker. He sounds like he's got like oatmeal in his mouth all the time.
well. He spoke the other day about, he made comments about the situation in Minnesota as calling it the theater of
Ah,
operations.
oh, right,
He
right.
was using
That's right. He
military
has.
war speak.
That's right. His jargon is a little bit more, yeah, military in that sense. Um, it's just the same stuff, except that people are not going to stop asking him about the $50,000 in the kava bag. It's not going to change.
That's the 50,000 bonus that all the ICE guys are getting. He just got it in a different way.
Yeah. And he never answers. He hasn't answered the question about whether he put the $50,000 in the bank. That's the media question, is just a simple one. Did you put it in the bank or not? And it's a simple yes or no question, and he never answers it. Anyway,
But you just say no and leave it at that. Leave it
oh,
at it's
indeed.
complete no is completely ambiguous. You're not admitting anything, but look at
Yep.
them like they're an idiot and just say no.
But he actually doesn't say that. He just says, I don't want to answer that. So that's fascinating and continuing. Today there's another, I don't know if it's 50,000 people, but there's a huge demonstration going on right now in Minneapolis because today is supposed to be another general strike day. It being the 30th January. So there's that. Uh, Apparently there's no trouble, although this past week they broke out, the Minnesota State Police broke out their sonic crowd Eldar thing, um, that produces ear-splitting noise to break up crowds. And unfortunately, it is owned by the Minnesota State Police, and it's not part of the inventory of the DHS, CBP, ICE, whatever.
How'd they get
So
that
they.
away from the Cubans?
Oh God, not Minnesota Havana syndrome. Come on.
It is that it must be the same tech, Eldar tech is the same thing that made those poor CIA people sick, whatever. Anyway, yes. So that's kind of what's going on now. Aside from, as I just mentioned, these weird, it's pretty obvious that it was harassing. There's an enemies list, and Trump decided that Don Lemon is up right now, and that's why he got arrested at 6 a.m. along with some other folks, which was kind of interesting just to see journalists sort of report as they were getting arrested, how that was going. And of course, it really upset some people. And of course, it tended to bump the coverage today. So you had Epstein, you had, Todd Blanche trying to explain his way, sort of something or other. And so there was kind of all these things were bumping up against each other. And we'd almost forgot yesterday about Tulsi Gabbard in Atlanta uh, trying to seize the ballots from 2020. They're still sealed, so they haven't been opened, but they were seized by the FBI. And it was just on that. I don't know, whatever he is, he's the head of the FBI field office, I guess, in Atlanta. He decided to quit. So there's monkey business going on that is, causing trouble. And so it's a busy day today for news.
Yeah, I first of all, Tulsi Gabbard, total loser. Insult to all brown people. I speak on behalf of all brown people everywhere, okay?
Yeah, that's
Everyone
true.
of Southeast Asian descent. But there is something strange going on. They're going to do something. David Feldman and Sam Cedar's been talking about this a lot. There's some kind of the reason that there was a quaz earlier this week. Jesus, it feels like a year ago, but earlier this week when after the execution of that nurse and good Samaritan, really. Um, the ask from the government through Pam Bondi was for Minnesota to turn over their voter rolls
Oh,
and their
yes.
voter information. They,
Extortion. It's just extortion.
yeah, there is a legit, a lot of people think that like, oh, they're gonna steal the election by some like hacking voter machines or whatever, but this is more like they can do targeted voter suppression.
Right.
And that is like truly scary, that you can get a letter from the Justice Department saying that if you vote, we discovered that, in conjunction with their IRS, You actually owe us another $650. So if you vote, this is something like basic, non-threatening really, but you owe us
Right,
another $600.
right.
Someone in a poor area, even if they could, it's bullshit and they can't fight it, and but they don't have the means to, why would you invite that trouble into your life? You know?
Well, yeah, it's a quasi or pseudo poll tax, which is, illegal in the United States. But, there's going to be lawyers out. But that's all
Still,
part of the issue.
Did you guys have a chance? Like, I didn't have a chance to read exactly what came out in this new Epstein dump, apart from one page of one thing. Because I'm rarely on Twitter anymore, because it's like a
It's a jungle.
cesspool. Uh, yeah, it's like the sewer under the Mos Eisley Cantina in
Yeah, yeah.
um
Um, well, there are several parties looking at all 3 million of the things. Some of it is simply verifying what the Epstein estate released already. And so it includes there are kind of 5 specific things that Trump did, one of which mentions Bill Clinton and a bunch of other people. So, it's Robin Leach is actually prominently figures in some of these. So, it's
lifestyles of the rich and famous, Robin
champ.
Leach.
Yes,
God, I can't
champagne
believe
wishes and caviar dreams. So that's
Jesus.
part of it. I mean, I learned something new today. I mean, I thought Robin Leach was there, but now it's kind of verified. And however, some of it is secondhand, and I think that's where it's going to get tied up. And I think that's why the media is not leaping on it like they should. Aside from, as you say, the Bill Clinton mentioning stuff, because some of it is secondhand. And as Bill Clinton said, well, I'm ignoring your subpoena or whatever the congressional subpoena, and but he said, quote unquote, he's willing to come in and talk, which is probably the best he could do under the circumstances, whether he did or didn't do anything, as they say.
Yeah, it's disgusting. And I think internationally everyone's realizing that, oh shit, we actually, QAnon, not to give them any credit, but was kind of right. Because we
QAnon
are
was
actually
screwed.
led by like a cabal of satanic pedophiles. Because if you're a pedophile, you are by definition satanic. And like, oh my God, like the British ambassador, the most recent British ambassador to America is
Oh,
all
yes,
over the Epstein files. Like
right, yes.
it's crazy. It is just it's disgusting. And I think like that's the problem the Democratic Party has, and it sort of exemplifies like all their problems. And the reason that they can't lead is that they're still tied to this third way politics, the Clintonite third way politics.
Yep,
And for some reason they can't jettison it. And it belongs in the garbage heap of history, which is basically, I think, what holds them back every time they're trying to speak about anything from ICE to taxation to immigration to anything. And
yep,
it's just the fact that they want to protect this guy, and more importantly, the massive amount of money his like network, like that family, Clinton family network, brings in a lot of money to the Democratic family through a donor base.
yep.
Is just it's mind-boggling to me. I wish there was someone in the Justice Department who would just like leak the files, like leak them all.
Yeah, that's what, the I think a lot of people have been wishing that. But who knows? I think it's going to take a person with a lot of guts to actually do that. Um, but at the current rate, it appears, and Todd Blanche was saying, well, we had to redact all of the victims or the survivors, but we're also going to redact all the males in whatever in this thing. So literally everything is going to get redacted, but it really truly didn't, because they had to. Some of these things are just impossible to redact. And as I said, they're corroborated by Epstein estate information that's already out there that comes close to naming everybody. And there were a couple of people who I think from the group of survivors or whatever the group that actually had a short list of the names of perpetrators. So, and that's a pretty interesting list as well. Needless to say, we may have a Supreme Court vacancy at some moment. So there's a lot of other hanky panky occurred. Let's put it that way. And so it's been a busy day. It's just I'm just amazed that we're at this moment in history. You know, I put up something that critiqued Christopher Rufo, who's the I think he's on the board of a new college in Florida, and is also, you know, another one of these nuts.
Yeah, someone I'm
Hey,
definitely gonna slap when I see him.
yeah, I mean, he's truly an insult to higher education, if nothing else. And so he decided that the reason why Minneapolis is a problem is because it's filled with Scandinavians. So he's blaming everything on ethnicity.
Wait,
You
what?
know,
Because of Scandinavians?
yeah. He just put that out today in his whatever, his blog or his
But
Substack.
Minnesota is Scandinavians.
That's right. It's so insane. And so, you know, that's sort of interesting. As though it was sort of a national trait to be radical, so that only Scandinavians do trade unionism or, you know, whatever radical activity.
They don't know
That,
what the fuck they're talking. Sorry, I didn't mean to swear, but they
yeah,
don't know what the fuck they're talking about. They're grasping at straws because they don't have any policy. There's no policy.
no, absolutely.
There is nothing that they want to do that would move the social agenda forward. Thus, it's
Mm,
all regressive.
yes.
Everything's regressive, and they are incredibly stupid, right? It's just like just consider in lieu of what happened after that horrific assassination last week in Minnesota. They started we were all there, pandemic. Remember those rallies in like Wisconsin's Capitol, all those Capitol buildings? People walked there fully armed, M16s hanging off them. And these were, right wingers who were doing this kind of stuff. No one said anything to them. And then they come out with a statement saying, you should never bring you should never bring a loaded gun to a rally. And they literally alienated 25% of their own like fanatical base, not
Right.
normie, like their
No,
fanatical base.
all the gun owners. I mean, the NRA was on our side in that particular, you know, context. It's really weird.
It's very strange. It's very strange what's occurring right now because it's just utter insanity. Because there is no other policy than just to utterly gut the government. But right now, it's just straight kleptocracy. Just
Oh God.
loot the treasury and make as much money as you possibly can. And you know, I guess we all probably listen to the same people like podcasts, read the same articles and stuff like that. I agreed. Like, if this republic's to be saved and the West is to be saved, every Western government, there needs to be something like akin to like a Nuremberg trial for like all of these people. And
Yeah.
it has to include the corrupt Democrats as well.
Oh
Like
yeah.
it just has to go
Absolutely.
that way. But otherwise, there's
Absolutely.
no saving it.
No. I mean, you know, there some sort of truth and reconciliation has to happen after, hopefully, we can get Trump out of there. But the problem is he's constantly throwing up weird and reactionary kind of information, right? Because the Melania uh, biopic or whatever documentary, uh, directed by that such a good guy, Brett Ratner, Uh,
Like the poster boy for me too.
With that asshole. I worked with that asshole on 2 productions, and he is an asshole. He was weird. He would like grab his crotch and stuff. I don't know what that was about. Like, it was itching all the time. Just fucking weirdo.
Oh, douche, do tell, do tell, like, what a douchebag he is.
Oh, he also had like some pretty young women hanging out with him at least once that I saw. No, he was just kind of a jerk, and yeah, and he was just kind of creepy. And
well, it's the
there's plenty
thing.
of actors out there. This asshole.
Indeed. But, some people will do literally anything to get the next move. He does want to get back into Hollywood in the sense that he's always been in the wilderness since all of the revelations about his sexual adventures got out there. And so that's how he got the deal because Trump wanted it to have, and also because it was leverage. What was it? It's leverage for against Paramount and whatever it and Netflix or whatever
Right, that merger.
the merger, yeah, and so he tried to leverage it so that Brett Ratner would get money to do uh Rush Hour 4, which it's unclear to me whether anyone wants Rush Hour 4, but I think we're going to get it because all these people want to be part of whatever money thing it is. And so that's how we have this Melania $75 million production. It's just amazing to me. And there's only
it's a
they're
straight
paying
bribe.
people to show up. I mean, this is just nuts.
Yeah, it's a straight bribe. And fun fact, you guys, if you want to look, you can go to Cineplex.com. That's the Canadian like sort of like big cinema chain, and check out Scotiabank Theatre for the Melania showing. Scotiabank Theater is our sort of like grandest downtown, like the most grand, huge kind of constructed for the like the TIFF, like Toronto Film Festival. So
Right.
it's like when like there's a premiere there, it's always sold out. I saw earlier, like a couple hours ago, this gigantic theater, there's one seat sold in the entire thing for Melania. Like
It's the
That's what
same
they
for the UK, etc. Yeah.
but that's what they do with like books written by Republicans. They'll just buy a ton of them and they'll just sit around. They'll just sit and rot. But they've sold them as if they're a bestseller because a bunch of Republican interests bought all these copies. It's the same kind of deal. They do it with books, and now they're doing it with movies. They did something. There was a movie a year or two ago. There's something Sound of Freedom or something like that. I think they paid a lot of people to go to see that one too.
Yeah, no, yeah. They paid a lot of people to do the Rotten Tomatoes reviews. I remember what you're talking about. Yeah.
Leverage, yeah. Oh well, Variety reported that they blocked mainstream media from attending the premiere last night of Melania. So he's not winning anybody who's
No,
important.
and it's like an obvious bribe, right? Like simply,
Oh
that's
yeah.
what it is. Like this, it's an open on like obvious bribe because Melania Trump is the most boring person you could ever want to like. Most first ladies, not to take anything away from them, but it's not as interesting as their politics. However, a lot of them have agendas and have done good, you know,
Yes,
through their
sure.
campaigns. What did Be Best do? That was Melania's last presidency.
Yes.
That was her drive. What did Be Best do? I can't even define it. Can anyone?
No, it's unclear to me.
The only thing I remember about Melania Trump in the first administration are actually two things. Okay. I remember that call to her friend where she's bitching about, I don't want to do Christmas. Why they make me do these fucking Christmas trees? And like, yeah, I remember that. And I also remember towards the end of that campaign, the COVID campaign, that they had like a body double Melania with Trump
Oh,
one.
right,
Do you
right,
remember
right,
that?
right, right. I remember. Yeah,
Like fake
absolutely.
Melania. Like that's it. That's all I know about her. And that's all I want to know about her because she doesn't have anything to say about anything.
Well, she would make a great witness if they could actually get her and, to talk about her life with Epstein before she met Trump. So there's that. Um, and also the whole business about visas, right? She had an Einstein visa uh, in terms of getting into the country, and she overstayed her visa anyway. I mean, she's another illegal immigrant if you really want to get down on that. Um, but I just it's just amazing to me how you can have these two things simultaneously. You can have this entire business where you're rounding up brown and black, well, brown people mainly, to try and get them out of the country, and on the other hand, there's this whole gold and platinum card that Trump is hawking that is essentially selling people an EB-5 visa, which is the same visa that Kushner was selling in the first administration. And he was selling it not to anybody, but he was selling it to the Chinese and sort
Yeah.
of rolling it together with condos in New Jersey, I think. So it's just so, well, it is transparent in that sense.
Yeah, and yeah, exactly. Every single one of these people needs to end up in jail from
Yeah,
top to bottom. Every single one of them. Because that's the only way going forward. It's the only way to save America from itself, and it can actually take its role as the leader of the Western world and encourage the Western governments to do the same. I don't think it's going to happen, but it should.
it should. Agreed. Absolutely. Oh, a busy week. Uh,
Professor, and what since you're always up to date on Russia, Ukraine, I've heard
oh,
various things about uh Ukraine, like what's going on with the peace talks this week. And the latest thing that I heard was that Putin has invited Zelensky to a face-to-face meeting. So what do you know about that?
um, it's still in the works, but I'm, just because I am pro-Ukrainian, I'm just worried he's going to try and assassinate Zelensky, when he shows up, because that's what they do. And so I'm worried about that, just the face-to-face business, because I don't, um, it just needs to be dealt with in a hopefully a decent, secure way. But I don't put it past the Russians to try and kill Zelensky if he shows up in Moscow. The actual details are interesting, if only because um, these idiots who are doing the negotiation, in fact, so Witkoff and Kushner are not going to be part of this next phase of the negotiations. Rather, somebody else is going to get sent, but Keith Kellogg would have been the person to do that, but they fired him. So there, I don't know who's going to do it unless they send what's his name, Hegseth, out there or something.
But okay, say the just theoretically, because I have been approached by that Lewandowski sponsored Ukrainian news network to be a correspondent for them. Let's just say uh, the battle lines were frozen as they are right now, right? So basically, Russia has Crimea and much of eastern Ukraine as it
Right,
existed originally.
right. The Donbass.
Ukraine still has that a small strip, although it doesn't make up for Odessa, but they'd have to build a new like proper port, but they have access to the Black Sea.
Yes, they
Is it
still do.
conceivable to you that politics aside, that um Zelensky could accept that and not get it assassinated?
I don't know. I mean, I think I think they're doing their level-headed best to try to assess. I mean, there have been actual attempts, and I think that the security service in Ukraine is doing a good job in
No,
protecting him.
actually, no, no, absolutely. But what I meant was, if Zelensky were to make a deal, like let's say
Yes,
tomorrow they shook hands and said, okay, the battle lines are drawn. You took this, that's it, we're done. This is Ukraine, that's Russia, okay?
Well,
The forces within in Ukraine would probably kill him, right? Like Ukrainians would
I
kill him.
no, I think what they want to do, well, on the Ukrainian side, if I were going to predict it, it would be, the second they get to wherever the solution is, they're going to have an election, and that, what's his name, Poroshenko, and there's a bunch of guys who really want to be in charge of Ukraine with their own, oligarch, kleptocratic agenda. So, I mean, I think it's always a problem when you have an oligarch who has his own, whatever it is, a regiment or battalion in the territorial defense force, because that's what Poroshenko has. And it's just there'll be an election, Zelensky will be out, something else will happen, and it'll be somewhat chaotic. But the deal is that uh, what Zelensky is trying to do is to get a security, sort of promise that ultimately involves the United States, that is, or the EU or NATO. It's not going to be NATO, but it's going to be something in between that guarantees the same issues. And that's why there's all this monkeying around with whether about joining the EU, which I think is going to happen. NATO is probably not going to happen because that's a big deal for Putin. But stuff's going on that makes it difficult, and I don't think we're going to get any resolution. And if for no reason, that I just don't think Zelensky should go to Moscow. Something stupid will happen, and they just shouldn't even remotely have something to do with that. Because after all, what's his name, the head of the Wagner group, got himself bombed out of the air, right? He tried to make a march to Moscow, and they blew up his entire entourage and him, right after that. So I think politics are still a little rough. And then you got Chechnya. There's a problem in Chechnya because what's his name died, and there's all kinds of other stuff going on.
Yeah,
So yeah,
there's a ton of internal problems in Russia right now.
oh
And there are
yeah,
a ton of internal problems going between the oligarchs in Ukraine as
yeah,
well.
yeah.
There's power struggle. It's like everything's becoming completely unstable. And I know like China is doing its part to keep Russia together right now. But at the same time, it feels like that it's like it's a house of cards that's just gonna about to collapse absent a piece.
Right. And and with respect, I think that's why, Trump is waving a saber at Iran. I mean, I think that's part of it as well, is to, just show the flag, um, put a little pressure on Iran, because Iran, has this relationship with both China and Russia. And so whatever, and of course all the other stupid things, the Board of Peace, he's going to install the Board of Peace at the U.S. Institute of Peace, which he had Trump and Musk seized in the first week of the administration. So all of those things are happening. Belarus just coughed up $1 billion to join the Board of Peace. I'm
So
not sure I would.
if Zelensky orders a ground floor hotel, do you think that'll make any difference?
I don't know. I have no idea. I think they.
The main
And Lee,
issue
I think you'll find it's spelled Bored of peace,
Indeed.
because they're all warmongers. Tony Blair, all that lot.
Oh, Blair's on the executive committee.
He's going to be governor of Gaza,
Oh, God.
viceroy of
Viceroy.
Gaza.
Oh man, it's so awful.
My understanding that one of the main sticking points is that Russia wants all of the Donetsk.
Yes, the whole all of Donetsk, and it's better to win that via negotiation than having to actually fight for it, because they've only gained a very small amount of land in the last year. I mean, it's truly ugly that they haven't done anything any more interesting, and they're just throwing people at the Ukrainians. I mean, it's all been very interesting from a technological point of view, because I think the Ukrainians are going to lead the world in drone development. So there's that. But the Russians are doing their level-headed best to try and subvert that in terms of getting Western or Chinese tech. They've integrated, in terms of their recruiting, more people to try and get more drone operators, and within the context of recruitment, as well as integrating it into the education system. They've militarized more of the higher education in that context. So on the one hand, it's all still growing. On the other hand, it's just going to hell. And I think, I just don't think they should give up Donetsk, but the Ukrainians have never had enough combat power to fully send everyone back to where they're supposed to go. That's just doesn't seem like that's going to happen. And there's all this pressure, to get a ceasefire. And in fact, we got there's sort of a ceasefire going on now, but it's not really a ceasefire. It's like a 48-hour lull that's supposed to be there. Not really, but there's that. So there are no actual ceasefires. And as I've said before, 6 times they've had a peace plan put out there, and 6 times Putin has said, "The hell with you. I don't have any, I haven't changed my mind." His demands remain the same. Ukraine has to capitulate. And so getting them off that, getting Putin off that is going to be, I don't think having that idiot Witkoff and Kushner, neither of them are really going to get that done relative to getting any kind of settlement. So I don't think it's going to happen. Could happen. Be great if it happened, but we're still in winter. And I think what the Russians really want is to get through the winter without people dying from the cold, which is what both sides are attacking as their energy systems. The Russians are doing a moderately good job of it, unfortunately. So, there's rolling blackouts and a whole bunch of other stupid things that are happening. But I think they're waiting until the spring and hoping that they can have some other, offensive to, bring the negotiation back to their side. That's a problem. You don't want to say stalemate, but it really is it's been a stalemate for about a year or two. And, I think everyone really does want it to end. And it's unfortunate, but, Ukraine may have to give up the Donbass. And that would be sad. It would mean that, well, it would be sad, but the fact is that the opposition or the rebels in Donbass have been there for a decade now, over a decade. So it's sort of regularized. And the other thing about it is, Russia wants the Crimea. They just want it because all their vacation homes are there. It's really the only reason why they want it. It's this whole, holiday place for them, and that's what's so awful as well, because they've also taken over a lot of property that used to belong to Ukrainians, and they've all been taken over by Russians. So whatever, there's a whole bunch of other messy things that are part of this story, and I think the real problem, of course, is that the Russians will probably keep Crimea, because they actually had Crimea. They had basing rights anyway, regardless. Even before the little green men came in, there were basing rights for Russian ships in Crimea. So it's always had that kind of complexity to it. And it's unfortunate that, well, the Ukrainians are Ukrainians. I mean, they managed to, Russia was stupid enough to think they could take the capital in 3 days. Well, too bad. Didn't happen. Ukrainians actually are, very sovereign in their sort of sense of the world. So anyway, that doesn't help you with the
No, but so you think that like this is not going anywhere, at least for the winter?
No, I think we're stuck here through the winter. I don't think you get a resolution until the spring, if there is one. And also because Russia is not in a position to, truly negotiate. They just don't want to show that they're losers. To acknowledge that Ukraine exists. They really, truly want to fully suppress Ukraine, put in their puppet, whoever, and, that it'll be problematic for a whole bunch of other reasons because, there's all these Western things that have kind of been introduced into the Ukrainian economy already. And of course, Ukraine itself is, pretty well armed. I think in the future, there will be a civil war probably if if you did have a resolution. So it's just a negotiating tactic for Zelensky to say, well, we want security guarantees, and the U.S. of course, because it's Trump, he doesn't want to give security guarantees because he knows he wants to simply just get out of there and give it to Russia, which is just awful. I think everyone, I can't imagine why the U.S. does that, but
It
we
could
can't
be just as
imagine why
simple
Trump
as him.
is Trump.
Could just be as simple as he wants to make a deal. Any kind
Oh
of deal.
yeah,
Same with the
absolutely.
Iranians. And
Oh God, yes.
it's
It's hotels. It's still
ridiculous.
about hotels. It's ultimately it's always about hotels or resorts or golf courses.
I'm kind
Anyway,
I'm kind of shocked. Like Joe, what is the reaction in Northern Europe to the revelation that it was in fact like a Ukrainian commando team that destroyed that the pipeline? You know the
I
what's it
don't think
called?
I can comment on that.
Nord
Not sure.
Stream 2, you mean?
Yes,
So
Nord Stream 2. Yeah, it's been like definitively proven by the German police because they did like a massive investigation into it, and it turned out that it was a Ukrainian team that blew that up, which has caused all this like chaos, economic chaos, especially for Germany,
Yeah.
but across Northern
Hmm.
Europe. Is
Yeah, I
that
haven't heard anything in the Norwegian press.
interesting? Interesting.
well, one of the reasons why it was probably a good thing for the Russians is that it kept the price of oil or the fuel prices higher generally. And so I think that there was not a good reason for Nord Stream to be stopped, but I don't think you could have had it go on anyway. Other than that, there's all this, dragging anchors to tear up telecom wires, which is still being attempted. And this seems to be a trend. Then in Taiwan, they're trying. Taiwan has had a couple of incidents where somebody was trying to screw with the telecom wire cables that lead to the mainland. So it's the same deal. And then, of course, today, um, tankers are not leaving the Baltic. I think there's this thing that there actually is a kind of blockade of the Baltic now for shadow tankers. So, but I don't know how long that's going to last. And of course, America nabbed another tanker this past week. So there's that as well. And then I wrote a thing where the the two companies that are getting the Venezuelan oil are uh, they've been it seems to be pretty easy to do bribery and then not have any repercussions from it. But the two companies who are charged with refining the oil that the United States has seized. This is the $500 million worth, 300 of which has gone to Venezuela. 200 is sitting in Qatar in the Qatari bank. And it seems on the surface that that's sort of okay, but the reality is, of course, as I said, there's these two companies that are going to do the refining that are one guy who's in one of Vitro or whatever the hell the name it is. He gave $6 million to the Trump campaign in 2024. So I think something else is going on. Anyway,
Yeah, I mean, we could talk about that for hours. The dark oil
unfortunately,
trade is insane, insane. I have some info too, but can't say it. I'll tell you after. But yeah, it's pretty crazy what's going on, and it's kind of astonishing, like when you think about the entire geopolitical implications of Venezuela and Europe being energy starved a bit, and Cuba. Cuba now
yes,
apparently only has 15 days left of oil and natural gas, which
yes,
means like their society will literally go kaput. It's like Marco
yes,
Rubio's dream because you just can't they can't run, they haven't been able to modernize at all.
yes.
So we have like we're unfortunately cursed to live in interesting times because nothing's changing and no one's doing anything about it.
Well, the reality, of course, in the Cuban case is whether it is going to bring down the government. I don't think it'll bring down the government. I know that there's a constraint there, but I think something else is going to happen. Blockading their oil is not going to do it. I mean, they think that they're going to do it because a significant amount was coming from Venezuela, but there's a lot of oil out there. I would just assert that I don't think I mean they've probably anticipated this anyway relative to Maduro. So we'll see. I haven't seen anything in the press about this. There's mainly on the western side of the press. It's there's only 15, they're gonna fall in 15 days, there'll be a new Cuban government. Well, I don't think that's gonna happen. As
Yeah,
much
there
as Marco Rubio wants it to happen.
Yeah, for all the shadow tankers we've heard about, I assure you there are 1,000 more.
Yeah.
Like they're
They're
just there. These are the most dangerous ships in the world. These are 30-year-old freaking oil tankers that are not seaworthy, that
right.
have been recommissioned by people across the world,
Yes.
and whose only sole purpose is to basically meet a legitimate oil tanker at sea,
Eh,
have it pump the
yes, right.
oil over to
Transship it.
them, and
Right,
then
right.
there's no transponder. They don't
Yep.
exist.
That's right.
And
And they've got paperwork. They have like multi-nation paperwork. They can
yeah,
prove that they exist under a different light, a different flag. They're flagged, you know, under several different countries. The
yeah,
classic
it's
example being that one that they were chasing all the way across the Coast Guard was chasing, and they suddenly decided to become Russian.
Russian.
You know,
I love that they also had the flag, like they had like the flag ready. They
yeah, oh
already
yeah.
had a Russian flag ready.
Oh
Like it's
man.
anticipating this whole thing. But no, that's I mean, yeah, it's a great update. I really hope for the people of Ukraine and Russia and everyone fighting in this horrific war. Um, and everyone watching it, it serves a lesson that in the modern world we can't have wars
Oh.
anymore. Like if you look at it's horrific. You can't there no one has a chance. I don't know how these soldiers are fighting. Okay, forget D-Day.
Yeah.
Like you can't light a fire without a drone hitting you. You
Yes.
have to be buried in a hole, completely sealed off, no heat signature. You can't move outside in the middle of winter, and they have to go outside
Right.
and
You have
they
to go
all get
outside
killed.
sometime. Oh, it's just awful.
It,
I
it,
mean, truly is awful because we have so much video now of individuals getting blown up by, FPV drones. It's just frightening. I mean, it truly is frightening because there's no limit on the amount of things like that you can see on the internet, and it's just traumatic, I think, in a global sense. But anyway, we have to do scheduling. We have to come to an end because at the bottom of the hour, it's night gallery.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Um,
no. Thanks for having a wonderful conversation as always, guys. I'll be
Thanks,
here
Arjun.
in the background.
Nice to
Love you
talk to you.
guys and wonderful
Nice
just
to talk to you.
talking to you. I hadn't planned on it, but it's always a pleasure.
Nice. Absolutely. It's very fun.
We could
Uh,
go a little bit longer. I still have to get this on the stove, but I was wondering offhand, Arjun, just from your reading of history, aside from the murder bots from the sky and all the given modern technology in war making, how much has been the continuity of war making and going to war has not changed in the past, oh, I don't know, 10,000 or 7,000 to 3,000 years ago? Was it much different?
Oh, from a human level,
Yeah.
no.
Well, from
It's
state
it's
and
it, it
systemic
it's
control over people.
well, I mean, like it's still like apropos of what you're saying, like it's still like the children of the citizens, like the peasantry, still going off and thrown into this meat grinder, um, at the whim of like powerful people. Um, I really don't know how to answer that because I feel like we're living in unprecedented
Mm,
times. Because we're at a
mm,
time where, let's say let's equate like an autocrat to a king or something like that. The king would still be accountable to some level, for losing a battle or for a war lasting this long, or for all kinds of other considerations. Um, or for example, like if you go to the Roman Republic, they would not stand for a general or a commander, let alone like a consul going out and losing consistently. Or stalemates were not, you know, not acceptable. This kind of like stalemate war where people are making money off it and it's obvious to everyone and it's just people being fed into a technological
mm,
meat grinder because this
mm,
war, if you really like, I mean, Enly, and I know Professor N, I know you've watched them. I've watched them. I have to send you this propaganda, this war and politics channel that I'm supposed to correspond for sent me. It's crazy, but war has become like a video game, like a disgusting freaking
mm,
video game for the
Yep.
drone controls. Like the lack of connection between combat and the you know the human life you're taking, despite the animosity on each side, has never
Mhm.
been at a level like this. I've never seen it like I was shocking. It was shocking. And so to answer your question, I
mm,
think the human condition in terms of going to fight a war and being fearful and not wanting to do it is still the same. However, the sort of societal impulses that drive it, meaning power, expansion, whatever reason you want to give, whatever the head of any government gives, remains the same. And unfortunately, right now, the main difference is that um, these kids don't stand a chance. Like if it was me, I would give anything to fight with the sword and shield and not go to Ukraine right now because these recruits are literally just like walking. They're getting killed walking to the front by Russian drones and vice
mm,
versa.
mm.
Yep. Yep.
It's just a it's bloodletting on a scale that is disgusting, but at the same time, completely unnecessary.
On that note,
Mm.
we'll talk a little bit about our schedule and hopefully get us back on time with Prof. John at 8:30. John, do you want to talk about Night Gallery?
Certainly. Tonight we have an episode written by Rod Serling himself called You Can't Get Help Like That Anymore. It stars Cloris Leachman, Broderick Crawford, Lana Wood, Henry Jones, and Severin Darden. Yes,
Exciting.
Harsh, there are definitely gams tonight.
Oh, good. Gams.
Lana Wood is in it, so you know.
Well, we are gonna, I think, continue watching The Wire tonight afterwards. And
Oh no, I believe Travis said Silicon Valley. Silicon Valley.
I thought Silicon Valley was going to be tomorrow.
Oh,
I'm sorry. Silicon
no.
Valley is fine. I'm happy to watch Silicon Valley. Having seen it, it's really worth watching. So if we see that, that's fine too. I don't care.
Oh, man.
Harsh
This,
says, I thought we were watching Melania. God.
It's sold out everywhere, Harsh.
Yeah, Travis, I highly recommend that you get this via some kind of BitTorrent for free. That's the one time I'm going to let you do
it. Oh God. So I'm not sure what we have Saturday night then.
Nothing's planned as far as I know.
I mean, in the future weeks,
Did
I
you
was
forget
going to
about
show.
Hungary?
I'm sorry. Oh, right. Are you going to do Hungary? Since you
Yes,
didn't do
I'm
it
doing
last-
Hungary.
Oh,
My
excellent.
columnists were.
What time do you want to do? Do it. 6
The
p.m.
hour before
Eastern?
movie night. So that's 6
Yes,
Eastern.
6 p.m. Eastern time.
Yeah.
Looking forward to it. I have questions.
it. For a split second, I thought that was Melania. Sorry, Anna.
So at least, that's what's on Saturday. As I've said, I threatened to show La Chinoise, a Godard film, but I maybe not ready to quite do that because I was thinking that I would probably do some actual slides for it. But anyway, some other week, I will show a Godard film, more likely La Chinoise. But anyway, Sunday is Star Trek Next Generation at 5 o'clock, and afterwards is Lane. John, do you want to talk about the episode?
Yes, another good episode of Star Trek: The Next Generation. It is called Sins of the Father, which is interesting since last week's Night Gallery was called Sins of the Father. There's an officer exchange. A Klingon officer comes aboard the Enterprise, and
they want number one?
Yes, actually, he's
Oh.
functioning as number one. And some difficulties arise, I should say. but the main thrust of the episode has to do with Klingon intrigue. So we get well, you'll just have to wait and see. But it
Yes.
guest stars Tony Todd, who's a very good character actor. Excellent.
No mating rituals in this one. We already covered that.
Not that I remember. No, I don't think so.
They will come up further
Tony
on.
Todd died, by the way, if you didn't know that.
Oh, shit.
He died last year. The Final Destination movie that came out last year was his last appearance, and I guess he came up with his own line at the end of his scene in the movie. He actually created that sentence.
I didn't know he died.
Yeah.
Is Tony Todd Gowron?
No.
He was Candyman, black dude.
Oh no, I know who he is, but who does he play in Star Trek?
I don't know the character's name. I only saw the first.
He plays Kern, but I don't want to give away who Kern is.
Oh, okay, yeah, I won't say anything. I know everything now. That's all I needed to know. I'm
Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert! Lane, what are you going to do on Sunday?
Spoilers. We're watching with Neil and I. A trained actor reduced to the stakes of a bum. We're watching with Neil and I, carrying on the unmade films little rabbit hole I'm going down. Then after that, I'll be playing the soundtrack to the as yet decided next week's handmade films. I'll decide between now and then which
All right.
soundtrack we want to listen to.
And let me just close by saying, Nate is going to continue reading the history of Palo Alto. And Bruce, do you know what the short story is on the Red Hour on Tuesday at 6?
Yes, it's called The Hounds of Tindalos by Frank Belknap Long. It's part of the Cthulhu mythos by H.P. Lovecraft. And the main character does time travel through the use of psychedelic drugs.
All right.
And there'll be a quiz at the end of the story. So be
all
prepared.
right. Participation.
Yes.
Bring your psychedelics. Anyway, I think we're about at the end, Joe.
Yeah. So I just want to review the meal here. We had counterfeit. We made counterfeit dolmas, vegetarian rice stuffed dolmas with currants, some pickles from the kimchi, walnuts, and spices like allspice and a little bit of cinnamon, and we have some garlic and onion and parsley. We have lemon, olive oil, and we're just gonna let this cook on here for about an hour or so till the rice is done. It'd be nice. You could serve them cold or room temperature. They're best when they just cool down after being freshly made. Really lovely dish. And it's feels like getting up in the middle of the morning. It was 1 o'clock when the show started, and on this is definitely a pre-industrial kind of food object to make. Man, it's a tough aim in the butt. little labor intensive, but they're worth it. Very worth it. So much better than the tinned ones.
Do you eat those warm, Joe?
They're the best when they've just cooled down after cooking, if you ask me. Yeah. But they're good. Basically, room temperature is the best way to eat them, I think.
Okay. We're going to try and do better next week. We will try and do better next week. Thanks to Arjun and everyone else who piped up. Thank you all.
See ya.